Twój przewodnik po świecie języka angielskiego. Dzień dobry, witam bardzo ciepło w odcinku poświęconym postanowieniom noworocznym. Na początku stycznia ten temat przewija się dosłownie wszędzie. Pewnie jesteście już trochę znudzeni, ale podpowiem Wam dzisiaj rozwiązania, które bardzo mi się spodobały, nie tylko w celu utrzymania postanowień noworocznych, ale też w codziennym zarządzaniu czasem. Częstym problemem jest też takie modne obecnie słowo prokrastynacja. Tak właśnie szumnie nazywa się po prostu przekładanie wykonania rzeczy na później, czyli odkładanie na później. Ale co zrobić, aby wykonywać działania czasowo i nie spychać ich wykonania właśnie na później? Posłuchajcie, jest to podcast służący do nauki języka angielskiego i dzisiejszy odcinek będzie więc po angielsku. Spróbujcie zrozumieć przynajmniej pojedyncze słowa lub zdania. Możecie oczywiście pobrać też pełny tekst ze strony www.monikapodbielska.pl, ze strony dzisiejszego odcinka numer 68 i tam sprawdzić sobie na spokojnie wszystkie szczegóły. In January, every year lots of people make new resolutions about their dietary habits, about taking exercise, or about learning something. We read about it everywhere around, don't we? Sometimes it makes me really fed up. We find plenty of encouragement to take new resolutions, and people do it. Psychologists claim that it is very positive for us as it boosts our self-confidence and helps us to think over our life. So taking New Year's resolutions is quite a positive factor. The peak of making the New Year resolutions is within 2 to 3 weeks after the New Year. Then things go back to normal. According to statistics, though, it is in fact the worst moment of taking decisions about something new. Why? Because year by year we are used to giving it up. Every year we decide on something, and every year the decisions just fly away, and we learn that year by year we can just forget about our resolutions. We can just resign from doing things. I checked the most popular pieces of advice on how to keep the New Year's resolutions. One suggests connecting a decision with an external factor. For example, I will be jogging 3 times a week after 6 p.m. So this 6 p.m. is an extra factor that you may try to connect your decision to. Or, I will learn English if I eat my dinner. So, eating dinner is this extra activity that will help you decide. So now, after dinner, I'm going to learn English. Other plausible advice was to divide every resolution, or let's call it an activity, into ever smaller pieces or steps to take. For example, I will start running. So, buy new shoes, this is one activity. Then another day, go out for 10 minutes walk in the shoes. Look, just walking, not running yet, and only for 10 minutes. Then, after a few days, run for 1 minute and then go back to walking. So such small steps, very easy to do. It will transform these activities into a habit. Suddenly, in this way, all decisions which are divided into such small steps are getting really easy and enjoyable. The subject of the New Year's resolutions is, of course, very often closely connected with learning a language. And in our case, it is the English language. And here we may also apply the above-mentioned ways how to keep the resolutions. So, connect the activity with an external factor. For example, I will learn every day when I have cooked dinner. So, cooking dinner will be this extra factor that will push us to everyday learning. Or you can divide the activities, in our case again, the activity of learning, into ever smaller pieces. So you can say, I will learn just 3 new words a day. Then it's getting much, much more easy. And keeping the resolutions is, on one hand, very closely connected with organizing and managing your time, both in private and professional life. And time management, quite naturally, will lead us to the concept of procrastination. It seems that constant putting things off for later is the result of bad time management, although not always. And again, for time management, there are plenty of solutions and techniques. One of the most plausible ones, which I personally find quite helpful, is the technique called the Pomodoro technique. It is based on the idea that you should work on a given subject matter for a preset time, for example, 25 or 30 minutes, but under one condition. It should be with no distractions. So you have to just turn off your email alerts, turn off your phone, and generally any alerts that usually you tend to check. Don't go to prepare your coffee. Don't check your email box. Just focus only on your aim. Work on your goal. Stay concentrated only on one thing. After this preset time, let's say we mentioned 20 or 30 minutes, you can get a break of 5 to 10 minutes of doing whatever you want. And again, when you go back to working on your goal, stay focused. Keep working on it without any distractions. Such working time sets you can repeat until you're really tired. But this technique will help you reach your goal and work towards your goal. Getting rid of any alerts that may take you away from your work within this preset time will really help you work towards your goal and the goal that you really want to achieve. No matter what technique we apply, any of them may easily fail due to one reason many people face: procrastination. Procrastination means putting things off for later. And again, there are plenty of pieces of advice how not to procrastinate. But now I will give you one which has appealed to me the most. In a very amusing way, it was presented by one of my favorite bloggers, Tim Urban. In his entries, in blog entries, as well as in his TED Talk, which he presented once, he claimed that between a mind of a normal person, let's say, and a mind of a person who procrastinates, there is just one tiny difference. In the mind of a procrastinator, there lives a monster who continually tells the mind to choose something pleasant, like watching TV or scrolling the Facebook rather than doing the job that you're supposed to do. When we realize that it is the monster telling us to stop work, we can easily move it or kill it, or promise the monster that it may come back a little bit later because now we are really busy with an important task. Just imagine, it is the bad monster that only looks for pleasant, nice activities. And when we imagine this, it is much easier to fight it and then allow it enter when we decide that we have time for play. Mam nadzieję, że rady zawarte w tym odcinku zainspirują Cię do lepszego zarządzania swoimi postanowieniami i czasem. Mam do Ciebie jeszcze jedną prośbę. Niedawno Spotify wprowadziło możliwość oceny podcastów. Dlatego, jeśli słuchasz mnie właśnie korzystając z aplikacji Spotify, wejdź proszę na profil tego podcastu Twój przewodnik języka angielskiego i tam masz możliwość przyznania mi 5 gwiazdek. Z góry Ci za to dziękuję, bo tym małym gestem przyczyniasz się do powstania nowych treści. A jeśli nie korzystasz z aplikacji Spotify, to zawsze możesz zostawić swój komentarz, polubić odcinek lub udostępnić odcinek innym. Nie zapomnij też o wizycie na stronie podcastu www.monikapodbielska.pl podcast.pl, gdzie przygotowałam dla Ciebie tekst do tego odcinka i wszystko możesz utrwalić na spokojnie. Jeśli jeszcze nie subskrybujesz podcastu, zrób to koniecznie. Oprócz Spotify znajdziesz mnie na Apple Podcast, YouTube, Google Podcast, a także na Facebooku i Instagramie. Do usłyszenia i do zobaczenia. Monika Podbielska.